Hi guys, welcome to the Fearless Energy, the weekly Fearless Energy update for January 17th to January 23rd. I hope you guys are all doing really, really well. This coming week is going to be, it won't be as heavy intense as last week, but it will still be just as exciting as January has been in the last couple of weeks. So buckle up. We still have some pretty big transits that are happening. We are in the Mercury pre-shadow period. I do want to remind you guys, I did say this last week, but here's just a little reminder that these 2 weeks while Mercury is in his pre-shadow period, starting on Friday, he'll go retrograde on January 30th. During these next 2 weeks, really pay attention to the things that you're doing in your life. And I'm saying this because people ask me, like, what's so important about the pre-shadow period, okay? So Mercury is traversing this pre-shadow period. He'll go retrograde on January 30th, and then he'll appear to go backwards. He doesn't actually go backwards, but he hits all of those points again that he hit in all those pre-shadow period. And then the degree where he went into pre-shadow on Friday, he will go direct again in Aquarius on February 21st, and then he'll travel those same points again that he's traveling during the pre-shadow period. Okay, so that's why it's important, and that's why we say that it is very, very, very important for you to really pay attention to what happens during the pre-shadow period, because there's a lot of stuff that really can, if you're not paying attention to the details, Mercury is going to have you revisiting all of that 2 more times. So if you haven't paid attention to the details, if you rushed through something, if you didn't cross all your T's and dot all of your I's, Mercury is going to show you where you have to kind of reset yourself and go back and revisit the things that you weren't paying attention to the last time that he went through all of that. So really pay attention to all of that stuff. And pre-shadow period is also a really good time to have your car serviced, just to make sure that everything is working on your car, because Mercury does rule travel and transportation, especially if you're going to be traveling during the beginning part of February until February 21st. If you're going to be traveling, make sure that all of the details, sorry, I have something in my eye all of a sudden. Make sure all of the details are really taken care of. Hold on one second for me. Okay, we're good now. Okay, so just make sure you just do some things, paying attention to your transportation. Make sure all of your computers are updated, your phones are updated, everything during the pre-shadow period. That way you can ensure yourself, check all of the house stuff, make sure all the lights are working, just stuff like that, if you have recognized things from the past that, I had somebody on Instagram be like, no, this just happens, my car always breaks, or something always happens during Mercury retrograde. And so you can do things to really help ensure that that's not going to happen if you're actually paying attention, or you can just let it all go and then complain that every single time Mercury is showing you something that you have to do in your life and you just ignore it and you procrastinate on it and you can just complain about it. Recognize that a lot of people really are complaining a lot these days instead of just getting things taken care of. So just remember that it's about accountability. You can't blame a planet for bringing the energy if you're not taking accountability for your part. Just saying. And Mercury goes retrograde 3 times every single year from the day that you're born. And if you're watching this video, you have survived 100% of those Mercury retrogrades. So there's really nothing to be afraid of. Just be extra aware and take care of your shit. Okay, moving on. So Sunday the 17th, the moon is in Pisces, joining Neptune. So there's a little bit of idealism that's happening. We also have Jupiter squaring with Uranus. What does that mean? Uranus is the planet of innovation, of big changes, of drastic changes, of sudden changes. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, big growth, lots of spirituality, really learning new things all the time. The optimistic planet of Sagittarius. When those 2 planets are butting heads or they're squaring off, there can be a really big, great awakening kind of energy. So a lot of people are sort of waking up to their purposes right now, can kind of feel a little jolted. You might feel a little jolted For those of you that are already awake and you are already on your spiritual journey, you might find yourself shifting and leveling up right now in the evolution process. A lot of that could look like if you're feeling really, really heavy about things or really dark about things. Usually when I'm feeling the most pressure and I'm feeling like everything is sort of like falling on me all at the same time, and I can't really stop like everything coming at me at once, that usually means that like I'm just about ready to level up. So that really big heavy pressure or that really hard difficult time in your life, just remember that every single time the universe is putting pressure on you, you're just about ready to go through a level up phase. And this Jupiter squaring Uranus is, you know, that's going to be like, we'll feel this energy for the next couple of weeks, to be honest. So sort of preparing you for the level up. You know, things are changing very, very rapidly in the world, you know, and if you're not on board for how currency is changing, if you're not on board for how government is going to be changing, if you're not on board with how, you know, transportation is changing and like healthcare is like all of the things, all of this stuff we have to become super, super aware of so that we can make the change. Because when it comes down to it, we're in charge. It all starts with the, you know, the people, right? That's what Aquarius is all about. Jupiter in Aquarius, Uranus is in Taurus. So really finding that value and belief system, right? Your values and your belief systems are going to be changing with Uranus and Taurus squaring off with Jupiter that just wants to bring better stuff to humanity while being in Aquarius. So definitely, and it's going to be a struggle for some people to understand that we can't stay the same, that things can't stay the same as they were. Everybody that's trying to go back to the way things that were normal before, sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to be the one that to bring the bad news for you guys. I mean, for me, I personally think that it's great news that everything is changing. But, you know, to each their own, the perspective is different on everybody. So that's what we're going to be getting with that. And it's going to be over us again for the next couple of weeks. We'll feel that. So Monday, the moon shifts to Aries, joining Chiron. And this will be a good triggering wound for us to heal and to overcome some things in a warrior type fashion. The moon is also going to be sextiling Saturn and Jupiter, which are in Aquarius. So this is really, I feel like Monday is kind of a day to be your own advocate for yourself. And, you know, don't hide, you know, people are going to be angry this week. There are some things that are happening, especially in the States where, you know, the country is very, very divided right now. And there are some things that are happening. We have the inauguration that's happening on Wednesday, the 20th, which we'll get to. Just wait for that day. Hold on 1 second. Hold on to your seat, your britches there, where it's like this week will be kind of an up and down roller coaster as well. But yeah, there's this Monday is going to be a really good day for you to be your own advocate and to be honest about how you're feeling and to be upfront with how you're feeling. Because if you hold all of that stuff inside, it's just going to fester and it's going to be more uncomfortable. And then you won't be grounded and your ego will spiral and you'll become fearful of all the things. So really paying attention to how those trigger moments are coming up for you and shining a light on, you know, what it is that you personally need in order to be the warrior, to be fearless in your life, to push forward and to not just, you know, fall back and hope that somebody shows up for you instead of, you know, to save you instead of saving yourself. The moon in Aries is all about showing the emotional aspects of things. So Tuesday, the 19th, the moon is still in Aries. The moon will be sextile Mercury and squaring Pluto. And this is really going to also help you transition and evolve with that Jupiter-Uranus square that's going on, that's over us for the whole week. This is going to really help the transition as well. And it's sort of like that's sort of like a serious minded kind of aspect. You might feel a little bit serious on Tuesday. The saving grace that we have on Tuesday is about 3:40. It's at 3:40 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Standard Time. The sun will ingress into Aquarius. So that's going to be really nice. So for the next month, The sun in Aquarius wants us to expand our thinking, wants us to be really innovative, really wants us to advocate for ourselves, right? As a community, as a whole, as a community, as a collective, and really think outside of the box to improve ourselves, really allow ourselves to look at things in different perspectives. Aquarius does not look at things in the same way that you probably look at things. So really allowing yourself to broaden that perspective and create new pathways from that. That's going to be really good for the next month. So happy birthday to all of you Aquariuses out there. I'm really excited to get started on the readings for the Aquarius season in the next couple of days. Wednesday, the 20th, we have the moon in Taurus conjunct Mars, and Mars is conjunct Uranus. So a whole bunch of stuff happening in Taurus, which is so interesting that we're having all of this happening in Taurus, because Taurus is with this Uranus in Taurus transit that we've been in since 2018. I think it's 2018. It retrograded and came back in to Taurus, but with this Uranus transit in Taurus, our value systems, our belief systems, everything that we had banked on in our past has changed, has shifted, and it's created a different kind of momentum, you know, moving forward. So this is Inauguration Day. So President-elect Biden will be sworn in as the president for the next 4 years on Wednesday with Mars conjunct Uranus. And if you remember what happened at the Capitol, if you guys saw the footage at the Capitol, I know that they have lots of ramped up security. I'm not surprised. I actually saw a tweet regarding past presidential inaugurations and the similarities to the cosmos during those past inaugurations, and when they had to ramp up the military, when they had to ramp up all of those things for the inauguration, for the president to be sworn in. And it's very interesting. I'm not sure that anything's actually going to happen at the Capitol, but I guarantee you there's going to be something. Like I feel like we're not done with the anger. We're not done with the anger by any means. I feel like with the, you know, I don't really like to get into the politics. I know a lot of you understand what my views are, and some of you don't agree with what my views are, which is perfectly fine. I want everybody to think for themselves. I'm not here to try and convince you of anything. But I guarantee you there are a lot of people that are really upset that Trump was impeached twice, and so now he can't even run in 4 years. So I feel like this week, like the Capitol thing that happened there, that was sort of a preview of the anger, and I don't think the anger has gone. I don't know exactly what's going to happen, but really pay attention, not just to what's happening during the inauguration. There may be other, like people's anger, it's all over, right? So it may not even be in DC that day. It may be somewhere else that happens. So just really, you know, pay attention. There are going to be a lot of, with Mars conjunct Uranus, there is a lot of like sudden actions leading to outbursts, basically. Like people will be triggered. They could even be trigger happy. You never know. So just make sure that you're staying safe. Make sure that you're staying aware. I would even go as far to say when you're driving in your own city, just be very, very careful, because people are going to be super triggered, and just everything's going to be on the surface. It's going to be very tense and emotional, like right on the surface, right? So you could use this energy to help promote yourself, help push your dreams ahead. Like there is a better way to do this energy. There's a much better way to do this energy. You know, use all of this extra buzz, basically the extra buzz that you're going to get from this, to push forward on your own goals and to really focus on your path and really focus on the things that you're doing. Stay in your lane, man. This is another week for us to stay in our lane, stay in our lanes. Opinions, not everybody's going to agree with your opinion, 100%. So just be very, very careful. So this focusing your attention on future forward momentum, goals, and ideas, staying in your lane. Don't feed into the anger. Meditate to get grounded. Do your yoga stretches in the morning. Get grounded. Say all of your blessings. Just try and have a more peaceful experience than those angry people that aren't using the energy productively, if you will. I'm not against standing up for what you believe in at all. Do I believe in the violent part of it? Absolutely not. On all scales, across the board. Doesn't matter what the actions, it doesn't matter what the protest is about. I don't believe in the violence part of it. Sometimes that has to happen to get our attention though, right? And so that's what's happening on both sides of the board, but it's getting our attention in different kind of ways. So everybody's perspective is different. And that's why saying your opinion on Wednesday or even Tuesday or even Thursday, right? Because that energy doesn't go away overnight. It sort of bleeds into the day or the day before, or the day after. But so then Thursday on the 21st, the moon is in Taurus. The moon is joining Lilith in Taurus and trining Venus, which is in Capricorn, and will be squaring Mercury in Aquarius. So this is going to be, especially with the Lilith transit, with the moon on Lilith, that always makes the feminine energy a little extra emotional. It could be a sexually charged day, to be quite honest. It might be a little, you might even like have that spark to want to talk about it as well. So using your, like really being carefree and expressing yourself. Make sure that you are reviewing your emotions before you express them. It's really interesting because we're still under this Neptune squaring the nodes thing. So it feels like life isn't real. And actually Neptune squares the nodes exact next week. That'll be really interesting to talk about. But, Neptune squaring the lunar nodes, the North Node and the South Node, which are in Gemini and Sagittarius, and Neptune is in Pisces. And, we've been under that kind of veil of illusion for the last couple of months, and we'll be under that until Neptune moves away and far enough away from the nodes where they're not squaring anymore, and things will start to feel a little bit real again. But it's been very hazy, like things have been very, very hazy. And this is the first week where we have every single planet out of retrograde. We have that for the next 2 weeks. Everything is pushing forward. So it's going to feel like time is sort of speeding up really, really quickly, especially with all of this Mars, Uranus, Saturn, Jupiter, all of these squares that are happening. And like once we get out of this, once the degrees get further along in Aquarius with Jupiter and Saturn, or once the degrees with Mars gets further along in Taurus, it's not going to be so painful. It won't be so harsh. So just let's get through January, let's get through the beginning of February through Mercury retrograde, and then we can like finally take a deep breath. I'll let you guys know when it's time to breathe again. So Mars is inching closer to exact square of Jupiter on Friday, which actually happened. So Friday the 22nd, the moon is in Taurus trining Pluto, which is exposing us emotionally, what we need to transform emotionally about ourselves, and apply that within our own values and beliefs as well. And then at 1:42 a.m. on the 23rd, Eastern on the 23rd, Mars squares Jupiter exact. So moving on to Saturday the 23rd, we have the moon in Gemini trining the sun in Aquarius, trining Saturn and Jupiter, all in Aquarius, squaring Mars. That's going to be a really good, highly intellectually stimulating day. Mars squaring Jupiter is going to make you feel like you can fly. That's the only way I can think of it. It's going to be very highly charged, very high optimistic energy. It could go the opposite way too, because Jupiter expanding on that Mars aggression with that square, people can be extra tense, people can be extra aggressive. I always like to go on the side of the Jupiter optimism and then the Mars action, like I'm going to be doing a whole lot of really fun things with business stuff and, you know, everything that I'm passionate about next weekend when, you know, Mars is squaring Jupiter, because I feel like that's going to be an amazing energy to push forward. Again, everybody's perception is going to be different. The way you can utilize a Mars square Jupiter, especially while the moon is in Gemini and the moon is interacting with Saturn and Jupiter and squaring Mars and trining with the sun in Aquarius, that's like genius energy right there. Like, you can create so many amazing things if you're not overwhelming yourself with all of the other stuff, right? So Jupiter, so next Saturday is going to be a really super good day to expand your mind, expand, you know, like educate yourself, learn new things, put yourself out there. Hopefully it's a beautiful day outside. That would be a really good day to get some exercise in. And, you know, I know that I think really, really well when I'm like running, my mind gets clear and I'm able to think a little bit more, or when I'm doing yoga, whenever that breath is moving through my body, I can always think a little bit more, and I have some more genius aha moments, if you will. So it'll be really fun, really interesting to see that next week. I think that some people are going to see it more as a malefic kind of day. I don't see that though. Of course, I am heavily ruled by Jupiter, or not ruled, but Jupiter influences me quite a bit. So I'm always on the optimistic side of things. You guys know that. You see me. But yeah, so I think that next Saturday will be a really amazing day to expand yourself in all of the ways, in every single way. And if you would like to learn how to expand yourself with manifesting, we have the next Manifesting 101 workshop where you can just genuinely learn how to feel good. Like it's not even, I mean, yes, it's about manifesting your life. 2020 gave me everything that I could have asked for. And so from here on out, it's like a bonus life for me. Like, everything that I wanted, I got. So now I just get to and keep manifesting, and everything is a bonus from here on out. And that just feels really good, you know? So if you want to learn how to do that and feel good about what you're manifesting, come join me on January 30th. It's going to be a really good time. I've also added another class. I did the Mastering Detachment class last summer, and I'm ready to do it again. And the Mastering Detachment class is on February 6th. So I'll remind you guys again next week, but the manifesting class, if you've already taken the manifesting class and you haven't taken the Mastering Detachment class, I'm going to highly recommend that for all of you, because in order to manifest things, we got to learn how to detach from the outcomes. We got to learn how to detach from the expectations. We have to learn how to learn how to flow with the energy instead of trying to force the energy and creating blockages for ourselves. So if you are interested in learning how to do that, that Mastering Detachment class is on February 6th. All of that information is in the description box. I also have, one last thing, sorry guys, I also have an astrology, a limited astrology reading called the Love Soul Intuitive Astrology Reading. It is a special for Valentine's Day. I know we're about a month away from Valentine's Day, but I wanted you guys to get the opportunity to get in. If you would like to, you can find out where and how you might meet your soulmate from your birth chart. And what's really funny is I was actually able to do that for myself, and it happened the way that my birth chart said it was going to happen. So my divine partner showed up exactly the way he was supposed to in my birth chart. So I want to help you guys with that as well. So there's a limited Love Soul Intuitive Astrology reading. That information is in the description box too. I hope you guys are doing well. Please take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful week ahead, and I will talk to you real soon. Bye.